Well, as you know, well, or should I say, Wrestle Kingdom week has become fantastic. As you know, we had the New Year's Dream, then we had Wrestle Kingdom, and now Wrestle Dynasty. This is a very interesting collaboration between not only New Japan, but also AEW, Ring of Honor, CML, and Stardom. So this is going to be a blast to review everything. So we're going to go from start to finish. We know we have some title matches that took place, but we'll see what happens until then. And then, of course, we cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, and of course, developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world. Pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to give you guys anything on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got to do Nagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have been said. I believe it's time to get this show on the road, so let's begin with our only review for today, Wrestle Dynasty. Wrestle Dynasty, another event at the Tokyo Dome after Wrestle Kingdom. This is a collaboration between many promotions that are working together. Other than AEW and New Japan, we do have Ring of Honor, CML, and Stardom. So basically, we have everything. Now, let's begin with the pre show matches that they have. The first one is the International Women's Cup 4-way match featuring Momo Watanabe representing Stardom, Willow Nightingale representing AEW, uh, for Persephone from CML, and then finally the current ROH Women's World Champion representing ROH, Athena. Now, of course, you would think that this match was going to be a lot of interesting. However, Athena has always been the one who always claims that she is the much bigger star of the show. However, basically what happened is what you guys are going to enjoy. Uh, Athena had this match won, but it seems Tekla hasn't forgotten what she did during, of course, New Year Dream. So she pulled a ref, and this allowed for Momo Watanabe to whack Athena in the face, and just like that, Momo is the winner of the International Women's Cup. So you ask yourselves, what's next for her now that she won? Well, two things does has been to come around after, of course, this match. Momo does have her sights set on the IWGP Women's Championship, but she wants to give it a little wait for a little while. I think she's trying to see if anybody could either take it off of Mayu, because Mayu has been very successful retaining the belt. But however, Tekla, as you know, had her issues towards Athena. I mean, Athena and Tekla are the same. They have the same kind of ideology about what they hate. But the only difference between them, Athena is more of a self-centered person, while Tekla is more like, okay, we're a group of people who hate everything, so we are in a common agreement, you know, that sort of thing. She even requested for an ROH Women's World Title match. Well, Athena said no. Well, this time she's going to give it to her because she interrupted her in the post match comments. So that could happen during a Stardom event, most likely. She said she did have some plans in Japan, so this could be one of them. So we'll see what happens. Now, our second match of the pre-show, we have the ROH World Tag Team titles. Of course, the Sons of Texas, Sammy Guevara, and of course, the Natural Dustin Rhodes defend their belts against, of course, Beavis and Butthead. We're talking about Kanemaru and Sho, the House of Losers. Yeah, you know how much I hate those guys so much. But of course, when it comes to those jerk offs, you probably can guess in yourselves, they're going to try to cheat their way through. Well, they kind of did in some ways, not to mention Kanemaru using the goddamn whiskey in order to win. But however, you know, like they always say, payback's a bitch. Well, Kanemaru got a taste of his own medicine when, of course, Dustin Rhodes, fellow Texan who probably drank whiskey in his past. Well, he actually took a little sip and then, psst, right in his face, just like that. And then of course he ended up in a combination between both Sammy and Dustin. Dustin applies the final reckoning. Then Sammy done like a swanton something. I'm not sure exactly, but it was pretty amazing how it did. But just like that, they retained the belts. Now, let's jump into our first match of the main card. We have the Lucha Gauntlet match. Now, we have wrestlers representing both New Japan and CML. Um, we did see Master Wato, Taiji Ishimori, um, who else? Kosa Fujita. They were representing, of course, New Japan. But for CML, we have, I forgot, Soberano Jr., Hechicero, and I forgot Mascara Dorada, and I forgot the other. But however, the one person that kind of got the attention was our brand new crown IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion El Desperado. So everybody were gunning from, and of course, it was more like who was going to be the one to pick up the win. But the person who did that was Taiji Shimori, who is now trying to get himself back in the junior heavyweight contendership, and that's exactly what he did when it happened. So he walked away. I mean, he had this match won, and just like that, it was over. Now our next match is a bit of an exhibition match. We saw Katsuyori Shibata makes his return, saving um, Tanahashi from the House of Losers when they tried to hurt him. So it ended up in an exhibition match. It wasn't like a match that lasts long, but however, this match ended up in a time limit draw of 5 minutes. But Shibata did stated that he would love to have a match against him before he retires before next year. So that is something we definitely will see what happens. But we'll see how the time will pull in for this. Now our next match, this is a winner takes all match. We have the New Japan Strong Women's title and the Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Championship. Mina Shirakawa, who won that belt a couple of months ago, uh, defends her belt and puts it on the line. Mercedes Moné defends the New Japan Strong Women's title. So basically, it's it's winner takes all in this situation. But keep in mind the TBS title is not on the line, in case anybody asks. But no, I have to say this is a match I think that Mina Shirakawa herself has been dreaming for a long time. Those who know this or not, before this match, Mina and Mercedes, before she was when she was known as Sasha Banks, that met each other back in 2018 when Mercedes made her appearances in Japan, and that's how the whole thing between them came around. So basically you probably wouldn't imagine it that way. But of course, Mina did her all. Of course, as we've seen Mina grow up completely, she has become methodical when it comes to tackling her opponent's knees, and it kind of did not do any good for her. I mean, she did try to put significant damage towards her, but unfortunately, Mercedes Monet walked away with the win when she applied the moneymaker, and just like that, it was over. She is now the undisputed British um, w- women's champion. However, this now sets another problem for her. She may have all the gold in the problem, but now that she will have enemies in all sizes. It seems that the faction from RevPro known as Cutthroat had their sights set. So let's see what happens until then. Our next match, we have Brody King versus David Finlay. Now, Brody King made his remarks that he wants him in a match, but of course, David Finlay thinks that, oh, Brody King, he's nothing but a toy for Tony Khan. Well, Brody King, he is not a toy. He's a guy you should not take lightly. But Brody King, we know he's a devastating beast. You know, he could beat the crap out of you, do whatever it takes. But however, somehow Finlay was able to overcome all of that and put him in the overkill. So he proved this point, thinking that Tony Khan's talent are nothing. But there are wrestlers who we know in AW that can take him out. But that's only a matter of time. Our next match, we have Shota Umino taking on Claudio Castagnoli. Now remember, Shota Umino, as you all know, he was a disciple of Jon Moxley. And now that Moxley is the AEW World Champion, when he became this very different person, Shota Umino began to question him, asking him, where is this attitude coming from? So basically, that's what it was. So he did say that he was going to deal with him one way or the other. But however, Moxley got wind of this. He decided to send someone to teach him a lesson, and that person was Claudio Castagnoli. And Castagnoli reminded him that he was an original Death Rider, just like he is. So basically, it's more like he's trying to remind him, you're a Death Rider because you were learning from Moxley, and that's exactly what it was. But Shota Umino, who is determined to prove that he is the future ace of New Japan, he has to go overcome this one. He may not have walked away as champion for the IWGP World Heavyweight Title the day before, but he's determined to prove people wrong. And I mean, there are those people who don't think he is the right guy for the job, but nonetheless, he did took on a hell of a beating. But he did apply the Death Rider onto Claudio, and just like that, it was over. Our next match, we have, of course, the AW International Championship and the Never Openweight Championship on the line. The Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii takes on Konosuke Takeshita. So Takeshita puts both belts on the line against one of the toughest SOBs in New Japan. So you probably ask yourselves how this is going to go. Well, I have to say, Takeshita, he is a strong individual. He's demonstrated time and time again. He not afraid to deal with a guy like Ishii. Ishii doesn't back down from anybody. But however, Takeshita was able to retain the belt when he applied the Raging Fire, and just like that, it was over. Now our next match, this is a very interesting one. We have the IWGP tag team titles that were vacant, and now they're in a moment to crown brand new champions in a three-way. We have, of course, the United Empire, Jeff Cobb and Great-O-Khan versus LIJ's Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito, and of course the Young Bucks. Now remember, this is how. Let's talk about how we got here in this scenario. Before anything else, we do know the last champions that we had was Henare and Great-O-Khan of the United Empire. But however, before anything changed it, the Young Bucks want to feel like they have one more mission to accomplish before they retire, and that is, of course, winning the IWGP Tag Team titles. Now, remember, these guys are a 7-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team champions. They never exceeded anything beyond. Now, some of you may remember, you ask yourselves, why did they went from IWGP Junior Tag Team champions to heavyweight? Well, they wanted it, and they had to put in a lot of muscle. But now that but here's the situation that happened. Henare injured himself during the tournament in the World Tag League, New Japan has no other choice but to vacate the belts. However, we did have Hiromu, Takahashi, and Naito as our winners. They won the tournament, so automatically they get it. But they decide to hold up on this for a while. But during a press conference in Wrestle Kingdom, Jeff Cobb showed up as Khan's partner, and they decided to challenge them. And then, of course, the Bucks were involved, so that's how it is. But when it comes to three ways, this is one of those matches where who walks out as the winner, because anything could happen before then. I mean, you probably ask yourselves, okay, who is gonna walk out victorious? I mean, I think many of you would like to see Hiromu hold a belt because he is a junior heavyweight competitor now competing in a heavyweight standard. And that's exactly what he was doing. But however, Great Khan ended up on the wrong side of the Tony Khan driver or TK driver by the Bucks, and just like that, they are our brand new IWGP Tag Team Champions, and they will defend the belts possibly in AEW. That's something we'll probably see. Now, our next match, we have the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Yota Tsuji, as you all know, defeated David Finlay, becoming the next champion. I think he's the third or fourth. So anyway, he defends it against Jack Perry. Now, if you guys remember, Jack Perry attacked Yota Tsuji during an American show here, and now that he is the global champion, he has to defend it. And of course, Jack Perry, dubbed as the scapegoat, he probably will do whatever it takes to win. But of course, Yota Tsuji, to prove his point, who he is, he was able to walk away with the win when he applied the Gene Blaster, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, Gabe Kidd versus Kenny Omega. As you all remember, Kenny Omega made his return to New Japan, gave a very brief promo about his plans and all that, and then Gabe Kidd showed up. Now, Gabe Kidd is the kind of person who feels that people like Kenny Omega are invading his territory. He likes to act like he thinks that Kenny Omega, he's nothing, that he is the true future of New Japan. But for Kenny, he feels like, okay, let's see what you got. So, of course, Gabe Kidd cannot deny that Kenny Omega is who he is, but he feels that he is the guy who has to take that spot. But of course, when it comes to Gabe Kidd, he talks way too much. He thinks that he's all that, but he has to prove it in the ring. We did see a lot of things happen. We saw chairs being used, tables being used, and all that, and there was blood everywhere. So you weren't too sure how this was going to end, but it was Kenny who walked away with the win when he applied the One Wing Angel, and just like that, it was over. Kenny reigns supreme once again. And of course, you did see a moment where Tanahashi was crying because he is the one who he saw what an incredible match it turned out to be. And of course, many fans have been saying that they believe that Gabe Kidd should save New Japan, not Shota Umino. But we'll see how that rolls up, because right now, I believe this loss for Gabe is going to haunt him for the rest of his life. So we'll see where that goes. Now, our main event is the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Zack Sabre Jr. makes another defense after defeating Shota Umino the day before. He faces against Ricochet. Now, remember, Ricochet attacked Zack Sabre Jr. when he, in fact, became the champion, and now he was demanding that he gets a shot of this belt, which he did. And of course, we know that Ricochet has tremendous agility and ways to get away from situations. But when it comes to, of course, Zack Sabre Jr., he has many, many ways to put you in a submission move. That's exactly what probably he would have wanted, to keep Ricochet grounded. But Ricochet did everything humanly possible to overcome everything that Zack Sabre Jr. threw in his way. But unfortunately, he ended up in a submission, and then he had no other choice but to tap out. So Zack Sabre Jr. made his word, like he said. This is the era of TMDK, but we'll see what happens from here on out. So far, no one has issued a challenge yet, but I'm sure we'll see that. Or unless I fell asleep towards the promo, I don't know. But we'll see. But for now, I think we are done for this particular review. Let's move on to our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin with upcoming events. Um, let's begin with West Coast Pro with the Only the Strong Survive. That'll happen on the 10th of January. The West Coast Pro tag team titles will be defended. Our champions, Crush Boys, consistent of Titus Alexander and Starboy Charlie, defend their belts against Sinner and Saint, Judas Ikra, and Travis Williams. So we'll see how that's going to be. And then, of course, on the 17th of January, House of Glory will have their Chicago event. The House of Glory tag team belts will be defended. CBK, I don't know who they are, will defend their belts against Gringo Loco and Aries. So that's going to be a lot of interesting. Um, Spoiler alert: I have not seen the recent Marigold event that took place on the 3rd yet. I'm waiting till it pops up or anything. But they did announce for an event taking place in Corkin Hall on the 19th of January. Three title matches have been confirmed and announced. Twin Star Championship, which is the tag belt, Bozilla and her tag partner Tank will defend their belts against Sareee, Yamaoka, and Nana Takahashi. The United National Championship, our newly crowned champion Mai Sakurai defends her belt against Nagisa Nozaki. And then finally, the Superfly Championship, Victoria Yuzuki, who also is a brand new champion, will defend her belt against Ice Ribbon's very own, or should I say she's a freelancer now, Yuki Mashiro. So that's pretty much it for that. Now for some developments. As you probably know, I mentioned I have not seen the Marigold event, first stream yet, but some spoiler alerts here. As you probably know, Sareee, formerly known as Sareee in NXT, lost the World Championship to Utami Ayashida. However, Rossy Ogawa has confirmed that Sareee will continue to make appearances and wrestle with Marigold, despite the fact that she lost the belt. So we will see her more often in Marigold as we speak. Now, Saki Akai, who, as you all know, retired as a pro wrestler, has posted something very interesting on her social media. Now, many of you probably know that she was attending a recent event on the 3rd of January involving DDT. As you all know, she's a staff there. She mentioned that she received a gift and a message from AEW. Now, she never mentioned from who, but she posted it on her social media that it had the AEW logo. So I don't know what that meant. I'm not sure if anybody from AEW is interested in her. I'm not sure. But I would be surprised if Kenny Omega had something to do with it, because we do know with his relationship with DDT from prior before New Japan. So we'll see where that goes. Fightful Select reports Welsh faction known as Subculture, consisting of Danny Luna, Mark Andrews, and forgot what's his name. I forgot the other guy. Apparently, they just revealed that they will be getting their U.S. visas real soon. I'm sure they're trying to get back to the States, so we'll see where that goes from there. Now, New Japan has mentioned that they have an interest in Baron Corbin. You know, many of you know that he is no longer with WWE, so it seems like they have an interest. Now, remember, we did hear that he was in the backstage area for World's End. But it's still unclear whether he'll be signed. There are those that speculate that he'll probably be signed with AEW, but now New Japan are interested. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he does go with AEW, but at the same time, would like to go to New Japan to have a deal with both companies, and I think that'll be something we could see. Now, speaking of multiple companies, many of you know this, Konosuke Takeshita, the primary Japanese promotion that he's worked for majority of his career was in DDT, and then of course going to AEW. But however, it appears that he has come up with a new deal with New Japan, that he will be able to work with all three promotions within the year. So that is something interesting. So he will be wrestling not only in New Japan and AW, but also in DDT. So that's going to be interesting to see. So I'm looking forward what he's going to do when we with all three promotions. So I think that's pretty much it for now. So let's just call it a day. Okay, so hope everybody enjoys this episode. Me reviewing Wrestle Dynasty. Originally I was gonna do two because I figured because uh, Wrestle Dynasty it was a bit more longer, but unfortunately I did not get that opportunity. Some things did not go according to plan in my favor. So on a judgment call, I decided, what the hell, let's just do this one instead. I know there's still some shows I haven't seen yet, but I did mention I have not seen yet the recent Mighty Gold event. Uh, but I do know certain things that did happen, but I haven't reviewed the whole thing. Once I do, you guys will get a full blown review from that one. There's still some events from 2024, mostly from December, I have not reviewed yet. But we'll get to that at some point. But for now, we'll leave things as it is. So I'm sure for the next episode, I'm just gonna wing it. But I may have another snag due to some other things that may get in the way. But as I said, we'll see how things will go. So for now, we'll leave things like that until then. Oh, wait a minute. I think we do have another show, New Japan New Year's Dash. But we'll see. Let's see how things will go. But for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah, and have a nice day. Bang.